Hey guys, morning. Bear with me one sec. I'm just getting my BCAAs and I'm jumping outside for a moment. It's lovely out here at the moment. There's just a little bit of sun, but not too much. So I can hang out here and have a chat with you. And yes, got my BCAAs, which you probably know I'm a little bit obsessed with. So I've just finished my workout this morning after I had some clients, and it wasn't the workout of the year. I didn't hugely feel like it, but I showed up and I did it anyway, which is kind of what motivated me to do this stream now. So I've also, as you probably just saw come up on the feed, I've just taken a little snippet of a sign that is on the wall, and it's what it says is motivation is what gets you started, habit is what keeps you going, right? So bear with me one sec. I'm just going to move around out of the sun for a sec just so I can see if anyone's there. Hopefully, I can't even see if you guys can see me with these sunnies on. Should be all right. They're big ass sunnies, aren't they? They actually make me look a bit alienish. That's all right. Okay, so where am I going to set myself up? I'll set myself up just here. I think I have a seat. All right, so actually, no, I'm not going to have a seat. I won't have a seat because then I'm going to lose my sort of energy that I've got going on at the moment. So I'm going to give it one more moment, see if anyone comes on live. If you want to have a chat and say hi if you do. While I sip on this. All right. Cool. So Facebook's telling me no one's there right now. That's fine. All right. Cool. So let me get into this. Like I said, the sign on the wall there was motivation's what gets you started, habits what keeps you going, right? So, and this made me, I mean, I've seen it there over and over, obviously, but for some reason this morning it kind of reminded me about a lot of posts that I've seen in the past, in weeks past and months past and years past from people, which goes along the lines of, what happened, I was so motivated, I made all these goals and just lost motivation, not going to the gym now, right? And it kind of reminded me of basically what I try and get across to potential clients and clients right from the get-go. So whether or not someone ends up training with me and working with me or whatever, I try and get this to them regardless, because if they don't work with me, their level of commitment and likelihood to follow through go down quite a lot. And this is, and you see this everywhere, that people join up somewhere, especially, I'm talking about the gym because it's just the easiest topic to cover, I guess. But you see it all the time. People set a goal, they join, they have this strong motivation. And that's what always happens is you don't start any particular goal. You don't actually take action on any goal and take it from being a dream to actually being something that you do until you find that motivation to do it, right? So something happens, something clicks, and it might not be anything big. It might not actually be anything that you can say, but you have a moment in time where you go, you know what, now is the time, now I'm going to do this, right? And so when this happens, people have that motivation, and they, in this example, they come to the gym, they join up, they get their, induction, they get their session with a PT to go through their goals and get some help and all that kind of stuff. And most people, because they're in that motivated state, they're in that empowered state of, I've made this change, I'm going to do this, this is going to be happening. Because they're in that state, I'm going to move here because otherwise I can't see if I lose connection. So when they're in that state, they actually end up less likely to get help, because they believe that what they're feeling right now, the motivation they're feeling right now, that they're going to get up and do this every day, and they're going to get really fit, they're going to get really hot, they're going to lose all this weight, all that kind of stuff. They get it in their head that they're really motivated for this now, so it's just going to happen, it's just a given, and they don't need anyone's help to get there because they believe that motivation will last. And the truth is, it doesn't. It never does. That's not to say you can't stick to your goal and make it happen and do it, right? But that motivation that starts it all for you, that's not going to keep you going, because it will wane. You will, you will end up in a life, which basically means you will get tired. You will want days off. You will just not feel like it. You'll want to take a week off. You'll want to take a month off. Stuff will happen. Life will happen. Family stuff, home stuff, work stuff, whatever it is, life will happen. And if you don't have any other reason except that initial motivation that made you go, oh, I really want to do this, you're just not going to turn up. You're just going to stop coming and stop doing it, right? And this is where habit is what keeps you going, as opposed to that motivation. It's great that you're in, it's great that you're starting, but if you don't have a long-term plan for when you don't feel like it, when things are tough, when you have to adult the fuck up and actually do something even though you don't want to, if you don't have a plan for that, then you're going to really struggle to actually make these goals a reality, because it's going to take a lot longer than the time that your motivation will last for you to actually get to where you want to go, especially if it's, a body goal or something like that. People have this idea in their head that, oh, well, because I'm really motivated now, I'll go really hard and I'll really make this happen. But then as soon as their motivation wanes, they kind of realize, okay, well, I haven't actually got as far as I want. I've been doing this for a couple of months and I don't yet look like I want to look. And they lose that motivation and they kind of forget that it's a consistency thing. It's a do it until it works kind of thing. And you have to keep turning up. All right, I'm back. Sorry, the Wi-Fi just cut out. All right, so if you want to just do a crash diet for like a month and then just stop and then put it all back on and redo it again in another month, then look, that's your choice. Like if that's what makes you happy, if that's how you want to live your life, is just, constantly chasing your tail and round in circles, then that's absolutely your choice. I can't stop you. But if you actually want to get to a stage where you're living the exact life you want, meaning day to day, you wake up feeling shit hot, feeling fantastic, that you're basically turned on by your life, that you love it, that you're doing everything you want, that you feel good, you feel active, you feel healthy, you feel strong, all that kind of stuff. If you want that as a day to day, as opposed to one day event because you've done a crash diet for a month where you felt like crap and now suddenly you're lean and then you're going to last about 2 days before you start binging and revert back to where you were and worse. If that's what you want, well, then keep doing what you're doing. But if you want long-term results, if you want to make this stick, if you want to make this a lifestyle, then you need to get it through your head. Motivation isn't going to make that happen. You have to dig deep and make it a habit, which just means, all that means is be consistent. It means keep showing up even when you don't want to. That's all it is. It's not anything magical like motivation. Motivation's pretty magical. Like the reasons and the things that drive people to do things are actually pretty magical. Like they're pretty interesting. If you listen to people a lot of the time, some of the most successful people in the world, and you ask them what made you actually go and do this, if you listen to their reasons, some of them are, they're pretty fascinating. Motivation's fascinating. Consistency, not so much. Habits, not so much. And this is where, because it's not fancy, it's not fun, it's not exciting, people think that it's not worth it. It doesn't feel as good as that first initial motivation. But nothing is going to last for that long unless you make it, basically. And it's going to come again. It's not like the motivation's gone forever, right? I'm going to get another drink. So it's not as if it is, once you lose that initial motivation, that's it, it's done. Oh, this is really good. It's a green apple flavour. Really yummy. All right, so it's not as if it's gone forever. It'll come back and you'll, get times when you're really motivated. And definitely the more you're actually consistent and succeeding at your goals, the more motivated you're going to feel from day to day, because you're going to feel awesome every day and you know that you're showing up and you're doing what you want to do and you're doing what you need to do and you're living a life of integrity. That's going to motivate you for sure. But it's not going to be there every single day. Every single day, what can be there is you just being consistent and showing the fuck up and doing the work. As simple as that. That is what can be your motivation every single day, is that, well, if I get through today, even if I don't feel like it, maybe tomorrow it'll be a bit easier. Maybe it won't, but most likely it will, because it does get easier. You get good at habits. This is where, if you look back over the course of your life now, probably some of the stuff that you're trying to change is stuff that you've made a habit in the past, right? And that's purely by just doing it over and over. And it might not be habits that you're very happy with. It might be, crappy habits like coming home and just switching on the TV every night and tuning out for hours on end. And that's a habit that you want to break because you know that you're just wasting your life away, right? Whatever it is, it's all just stuff that you repeated. And there's probably quite a few days where you come home, you don't really feel motivated to turn on the TV, but you just do it because it's a habit. And it's dangerous when it gets to that stage where you are just doing things out of habit without actual conscious decision as to why you're doing them. And that's where that motivation comes in to go, no, I'm going to change this now. I'm going to do something different. But you've got to then work on making that a habit as well, rather than just relying on that initial burst of emotion, burst of motivation to be like, yes, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. You have to commit to it to get the results long term. And it is so worth it when you do, because that's the only way, if you want this to work for you long term, if you don't want to just basically be a one-hit wonder, if you want to be an absolute legend and build an empire in whatever it is that you're doing, or, in terms of your life in general, like why live half-assed, why only go half in, why not make the impact that you're destined to make? And it's really important to understand if you're not, bugs, ew. If you're not a huge entrepreneur and running your own business or whatever, that's not what I'm talking about. It doesn't even come down to that. It comes down to just doing what you love. And this is a bit of a tangent off of today's stream, but I'm going to mention it anyway, rather than doing another stream about it. I was chatting with a client this morning, and she doesn't run her own business or anything like that. But I was just talking to her about what she does and her work and everything while we're training. And it just hit me that she started to look to me the way that I know from what people tell me and from what I see for myself, is what I look like when I'm talking about, about any of this, about motivation, about living your best life, about creating your dream life and showing the fuck up and doing the work. She was glowing. Like, it was literally, you could just see from the way that she spoke, from the way her energy raised, from her entire vibe, that she was in the zone, that she loved what she does. That it's not that it's always easy. It's not that it's always just, rainbows and butterflies. There's a lot of hard work that goes into it. There's a lot of stress that goes into it. There's a lot of tough times, all that kind of thing. But she loved it. And you could just tell, like, she just lit up and she just talked and it was just effortless. And you could just tell, right? And so that's why I want to make a big point that it's not just about, if you creating a dream life just always means becoming an entrepreneur and, building your own business and building your own empire and all that kind of stuff. No. What your empire is completely up to you. Nobody's going to tell you that you have to do this. Whatever difference, whatever legacy you want to leave on the world is completely up to you. But you have to understand that just because you want something and that you're motivated to do it at the beginning is not a guarantee that you're going to always be motivated and that you're always going to follow through. The only way to do that is to make the choice, to be consistent and make it a habit. That's the only way it's going to get there. Doesn't matter how much you love what you do, doesn't matter how much you're called to do what it is you do, whatever it is, if you're not actually going to show up and do the work and admit that there are going to be days when you just don't feel like it, because it's just life. You can't every single day expect to feel exactly the same thing, because that's not what we're designed to. We're designed to grow through the hard times and not just bounce from awesome to awesome to awesome. We need challenges to grow. And when we stop growing as humans, we stop having a purpose. And now I'm really getting off on a tangent. This is completely other stream that I want to do. So I'm going to stop that there. But let's go back to motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. And the only way to make it a habit is to make it a choice over and over and over, to just do it, show up, commit to it, keep taking the steps to get where you want to get to, regardless if you feel like it, regardless if you're not motivated that day. And get help. That's the other big thing. I understand what it's like when you're so motivated and you're so excited about something and you have this inner belief that you're just going to make it work and you just know it. But if you don't yet get that means that that's going to fade, that you're not going to always feel that excited about it, and that it's going to get tough at times and you're going to have to work through it anyway and have some other plan for how to get through that, then it's not going to work. You're going to end up giving up because you're not actually going to get into the habit of making it a habit. You're going to get in the habit of just relying on your feelings and your emotions day to day to rule your long-term life. And that's a very dangerous path. So get motivated for sure. Get excited for sure. But do not assume that that is going to be the only thing that you can rely on to get you to your goals. And if anything, get help before you want it. Get help before you need it so that it is already there. You already have your PT or your coach or whoever already there, and they know you and they understand what you're going through before you even hit that first or few times where you go, oh, I just can't be bothered. Like, I just don't want it. I don't want to get up today. I don't want to do any of this. Get it before you get to that stage so that you've already got that support system there and you know you're not going to fail. You're going to stay consistent and you're going to get there regardless because you're going to keep showing up even when it's tough, even when you're not motivated. And it's fun and it makes you grow and it makes you a better person. It makes you a stronger person and it's a habit and it's a muscle you get better at using over and over, right? All right, so I'm going to finish it up there. If you guys have any questions, please post below. I'd love to hear from you and I will talk to you soon. All right, bye.